Napeco over here. Dustin over there. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Fantasy Smack Talk. Before Dustin gives you the tip of the week, just real quick, if you are out of your fantasy league, I am sorry. But if you are, you can still play on FanDuel.com. Enter the promo code FST2013. We give you one of these if you deposit money, which is key. And then you play those daily auction leagues. They're a lot of fun. There's some suckers in there, so you can definitely win some money.
All right, tip for you. Every year we really do like to give this one tip about defenses because it's a good tip, so we want to share it every year. So the thing is, at this point of the year, you probably have a little bit more flexibility with your bench. You probably have a spot that you can use. One of the best things you can do is use it for a second defense because that's using it for a second defense. That's going to get into your starting lineup much better chance than your fifth wide receiver. So it's improving your starting lineup from week to week. So basically, for right now, you have your week 11 defense, and you go ahead and pick up your week 12 defense if there's one out there on the wire that you got your eye on. And you just keep that up, and you're just 1 week ahead of everyone else that's thinking about picking up and playing defenses. So it gives you more to choose from. It's a good tip. Let's get into those forum questions. First one comes from Coltrane444.
Coltrane?
Andre Ellington at Jacksonville. Or Andre Brown versus Green Bay. Tough one.
This one is tough just because it is Jacksonville and they have been prone to give up some big run plays, so obviously that's what Ellington is pretty much a specialist at. But they keep talking about Mendenhall over there and they keep giving him touches. I'm going to go with the guy that got 30 touches last week and looked pretty darn good doing that, and that's Andre Brown. Again, this is just a volume play. I think he has a better chance to find the end zone. To me, he's safer, and the ceiling's almost as high just because of the touchdown potential. All right, Dustin, flex spot question comes from Tactical 6 String. Wants to know, Keenan Allen at Miami, Jordan Nelson at the Giants, or Andre, your boy Ellington at Jacksonville?
Love me some Andre Ellington. And I think I got to go with him on this one. I mean, it's really tough. I do like Keenan Allen coming off of a kind of a subpar game for him. I think he could bounce back. Jordy Nelson's really hard to trust with the quarterback situation out with Green Bay, so I think Andre Ellington's the much safer pick out of these three.
Wow.
Who are you going with?
I'm going Allen out of this bunch. I'm just calling him the safer pick. I mean, Jacksonville's terrible.
Jacksonville's terrible. Ellington's been getting 15 touches or so. I mean, they're going to get the ball in his hands. He's a playmaker for him. I like Ellington the most.
He loves Ellington.
All right, we got a flex spot question from Hungry619.
Would you go Ellington over Brown?
And PPR probably.
Okay.
Hungry619. Steve Smith versus New England. Steven Jackson at Tampa Bay. Or Stevie Johnson versus the Jets. Have fun with that one.
Yeah, this one's tough. I told Dustin to ask this last just because I still had to think about it. It's a tough call. I'm going to go with a little bit of a cop-out here. I'm going to take Stevie Johnson out of the mix. I'm going to go between Steve Smith and Steven Jackson. I know Steven Jackson has been awful, but Tampa Bay, I feel they're going to be able to move the ball on them, and Tampa Bay's given up 2 passing touchdowns pretty much, I think, the last couple weeks. So I think it's the pass to open up the run kind of thing here. I think Steven Jackson in a standard league because he has the best chance to find the end zone. In a PPR, I think the Carolina New England Patriots game, there's going to be a lot more passing going on. So I'd say in a PPR, maybe lean towards Steve Smith, but yeah,
It's a tough one.
this is hard.
That's a tough one.
All right, times for studs, duds, and
Actually, duds and sleepers.
And then deep sleepers.
And deep sleepers. So, you probably look at my dud and then you look at my sleeper and you say, well, that's kind of stupid. How do you have a dud for your quarterback
That's what I said.
and a sleeper from the same
During
team?
our pre-show, I said those exact words.
I wanted to talk about both of them and it just kind of worked out that way. So, yes, it is a little weird, but here's what I wanted to say about Case Keenum, though, because I've seen a lot of people pick him up and they're going to look at that matchup against Oakland and they're going to do, when Foles played Washington forever ago and they looked at the matchup and he's coming off a good game and they started him over guys they shouldn't be starting him over. Don't be putting Case Keenum in over any of your big name quarterbacks. Yes, he has a good matchup. Yes, he could have a decent game. But I think they could win that game in the first half. Now I got DeAndre Hopkins on here because I think he will have a good first half. And you only need about 100 yards for a receiver to have a good game. Quarterback, not so much. So I do think DeAndre
You're calling
Hopkins.
100-yard first half DeAndre Hopkins is the call, if I'm reading this correctly.
I think he's got a good chance of having a big play. I think
Okay.
as far as upside goes,
I mean, their secondary's all banged up. I can't hate
he's a little risky, but I think he has a huge upside this week, and I do think Hopkins could have a big play. Kind of a gut call. But my deep sleeper is the same as last week. I'm going with the Giants defense. They haven't been that great all year, but they looked good last week, and they got a matchup against Green Bay. While I do think Green Bay is going to be able to move the ball, maybe put up a decent amount of points, I think inexperienced quarterback, they're going to get to him forcing mistakes.
Man, I think it was Foles against the Giants that you were possibly thinking.
Is that what it was?
I don't know. Either way, all right, my dud is going to be the Kansas City Chiefs. And what I'm saying, I'm not saying necessarily cut them, but we talked about last year, we really hate their schedule going forward. This week, they're playing Peyton Manning. I know Peyton Manning's a little bit banged up, but Denver's at home. KC just seems to play a little bit better when they're at home. They're going to be ranked inside my top 10, but I think just inside my top 10. I don't think they're going to be a top 5 play necessarily this week, so just keep that in mind. But again, I don't think I'd cut them.
Definitely don't drop.
Yeah. My sleeper, I don't think anybody would, but you never know. My sleeper would be Donger might be out there.
Donger, don't drop.
He is a moron. My sleeper is going to be Andre Brown. Talked about it earlier. 30 touches last week. I think he had a $115 and a touchdown. Love the way he looked. And you forget, last year, he also looked really good, and then David Wilson kind of got in the mix. Everyone assumed Wilson was going to take over. Andre Brown, even in keeper leagues, might take this job or run with it by the end of the year. Maybe they even do a sneaky giant run, make the playoffs, and even have value next year in keeper leagues. And my deep sleeper is going to be McCown. Here's the thing. Cutler's not playing. He's had a QB rating of 103 this season when he's been playing. He's been playing great, and it's also those weapons. I love him out there. Marshall, Jeffrey really came into his own. Forte, that offense. Martellus Bennett. I mean, there's just a lot going on out there. He's going to probably be a top 15 play if I had to guess for me this week. So, again, you might not be starting him in a 10-team or even 12-team league, but 2 quarterback leagues, I love him as a spot start.
All right, let's look at Mike's picks. His stud's going to be C.J. Spiller going up against the Jets. The Jets are tough against the run, and can you really trust Spiller at this point? Yeah, he's thrown in a couple of good games here and there, but
Such a tease.
he's just not himself. His sleeper is going to be Chris Ivory going up against Buffalo. Buffalo does give up a lot of yards on defense, and Ivory's looked good. I mean, at this point, you have to think, he's the front runner for touches. It's still kind of a mess out there with Powell, but Ivory looks to be the guy moving forward.
Way to go, ESPN, by the way. Wow, Powell going to get all the touches. How's that worked out, ESPN?
Didn't work out. And his deep sleepers, John Carlson going up against Seattle. Kind of a scary matchup on paper, but Carlson's looked good since Kyle Rudolph went out. He seems to be kind of a nice little safety valve for Ponder. So he's not hating on Carlson this week if you're looking for a deep tight end.
Sleeper.
Deep sleeper.
Yeah, he's not going to be getting 10 targets or whatever he got last week. There's no way he gets 10 targets.
Can't say no way. I mean, it's unlikely, but
Okay. Literal. Nadeco, Dustin, got any questions? Post them in the forums. Like us, thumbs up, all those other good things. One more.
subscribe on YouTube.
There we go.